Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to thank you for your appreciation and engagement on my YouTube channel. Thank you for your comments, your likes, and subscription. For the ones who are here first time, I'm Dr. Nash Jocic, bodybuilding champion, who has spent in the bodybuilding world over 40 years and also competed 46 times and won 17 titles. During this time, I personally supervised and trained over 3,000 clients and helped them to get in the best shape of their lives. In the meantime, I also published 9 books on weight training, fat loss, muscle growth, nutrition, lifestyle change, and they are all available on my website, nashfittraining.com. Go to the page shop if you're interested. My ebooks are packed with very detailed information about all these topics that I have mentioned, and I believe they will help you greatly to achieve the best possible results and optimize your potentials. Now, this time I want to talk about weight training. Weight training. Why weight training? What are the benefits of weight training? And who should do it? And then, obviously, how to do it. How not to waste time, how to do the best that you can possibly do in the record time. Now, I am going to use this opportunity also to introduce my book, Weight Training, to you, which I have published in 2010, so 15 years ago. Now, the reason why I decided to publish this book is because I already had a very good track record and a lot of experience in competitive bodybuilding, in personal training, in personalized training programs and nutritional programs that I've written for people all around the world. And I thought maybe it would be a good idea to write a book which will cover all these topics that most of the other books didn't. So, as you can see, I have bought almost every single training and nutrition book on the market. I read them all. I used quite a lot of information from there. I learned a lot. But what I realized actually is that no book on weight training was actually what I wanted to give to the world, what I wanted to write for you. And why is that? Because they were all written in the same fashion. Basically, in the fashion, if it works for me, it's going to work for you. Arnold did it, Mike Mentzer did it, Dorian Yates did it, Frank Zane did it, Franco Colombo did it, and also a bunch of these new gurus, whoever they are, who are coming up with some fancy exotic systems with cables and, isolation exercises. And their main motto is, if it worked for me, it's going to work for you. But I completely disagree with that, because what works for me doesn't have to work for you or anybody else. It's just my experience. And this was clearly proven in case of Arnold, for example. Everybody wanted to train like Arnold. Nobody managed to do it. In his books, he only talks about his training system. Yes, it's great. You know what Arnold did. But is it going to work for you? Well, not necessarily. The same applies to everybody else. So I decided to write a book in which I will explain to you the fundamentals of weight training. I wanted to explain to you about things that you have to know, like, for example, the basic anatomy, then the nature of muscle tissue. You need to know that, because once you understand what are the fundamentals of weight training and what is the nature of your muscle tissue, what are your body systems, how they work, you will be much more confident to experiment and adjust everything you hear and learn in order to get the best possible training system and techniques for you. So I have written this book, which is a massive book, is on over 400 pages and contains 240 photos of me showing you the most effective exercises in the perfect form. So I wanted to show you the best exercises that will help you to achieve your results in a record time. And every exercise is shown in in the starting and finishing position, obviously showing you the perfect form of execution of these exercises. So let me quickly take you to the chapters. There are 20 chapters in this book, and first 5 chapters actually are there just to give you a bit of general knowledge of anatomy, muscle tissue, weight training, for example. So when I talk about importance of exercise in the second chapter, which is called Why Exercise, I don't just talk about necessity to grow muscles and burn fat and get big as much as possible. No, I'm talking about the benefits of exercising in general, and then I later on talk about weight training. So exercise is absolutely necessary for your well-being, for your overall health, for your metabolic health, not to mention for your strength, and obviously for your shape and body composition. So in order to further deepen your knowledge, my next chapter is called Basic Anatomy, in which I'm talking about all bodily systems. Like, for example, I talk not just about muscular system, I talk about skeletal system, I talk about cardiovascular system, I talk about hormonal system and other systems, in order to give you a picture of what your body is made of. It's very important to understand. It's not just muscles there. There are other systems that you have to pay attention to later on in your development, because you need to understand, for example, when it comes down to overtraining or fat accumulation, or maybe trying to get in top shape, how these systems will respond, and what you need to do during your how do you need to structure your training and nutrition in order to keep them working in synergy, all these body systems. So this is why it's important to understand this basic anatomy. The next chapter is into the muscle tissue, in which I try to discern to you what is muscle tissue, what is made of, what are muscle fibers, which type of muscle fibers are most responsive to weight training, who are the people who are predominantly favorable muscle fiber type, and how they respond to training, where are you in all that. So you need to understand what your muscles are made of. So before we get into sets, reps, and the rest, this is something that you must know. Then I talk about weight training, because in the second chapter, Why Exercise, I talk about exercise in general, but then in the chapter Why Weight Training, I'm actually talking about the benefits of weight training and why you should consider this as the most important type of training in your program. The next chapter is training systems, in which I talk about all possible training systems. I talk about 3-day split routine, 4-day, 5-day, 6-day. Then I talk later on about a double split system for more advanced bodybuilders. I talk about grouping of muscles. How do you group the muscles? What is push, pull, leg, for example, training system? What are the other training systems there? Because I wanted to give you the picture of all the possibilities when it comes to training systems, and then you can get the one that works for you. I don't just want to tell you, oh, I'm doing this and this is going to work for you, because this is not going to happen. So what I'm trying to do, again, I'm trying to expand your knowledge that you will use in order to find out which training system is best for you. Then I talk about training techniques. This is a very important chapter, and this is where I explain about importance of perfect form when it comes to every single exercise. But there are obviously different training techniques, as you know, and I cover them all in this chapter. Now the next chapter is sets and reps. So I'm talking about different type of sets that you will be using. They're like straight sets, cheating sets, force reps, negatives. Then you have 3 sets, then you have giant sets, etc. And I explain all of that. And then I talk about the reps as well in this chapter. It's very important to understand. So why should you do 6 to 8 reps in some exercises, and in some exercises you should go like 8 to 20? Where are you? What should you do? So I explain that in this chapter in detail. So sets and reps. In the chapter 9, we come to exercises. So now this chapter covers all the exercises for all the major muscle groups. So basically legs and calves, back, chest, shoulders, arms, abdominals. Everything is covered with most effective exercises, with over 240 pictures of me showing you the perfect form of execution. Now, I don't only talk about the most important exercises that have given phenomenal results to most of the bodybuilders, including myself, but I'm also talking about the benefits of every single exercise. I talk about perfect form of execution of every single exercise, and also about the potential risks, because some exercises are much riskier than others, and you have to be careful in choosing which exercises you're gonna do. For example, if you have back problems, or if you are not built to do squats, then obviously you're not gonna use that exercise as a main exercise to build your quads. You're gonna focus for leg press. But once you get into all this, once you learn about every single exercise, not just how to do it, but benefits and risks, which nobody ever talked about, and presented bodybuilding and all the exercises as the safest that can be, but in reality is not. There is a lot of injuries happening, and this is because so-called experts never talked about risks, potential risks of particular exercises, which I have pointed out in this chapter called exercises. Now, in the next chapter, I talk about proportional development of strength and muscle groups. So I always insisted on proportionate development of all muscle groups, because for me, bodybuilding was always about that. Wide shoulders, V-shaped back, small waist, big quads, big calves, proportionate arms. And this was what I believe bodybuilding should have been all about. Unfortunately, that is not happening nowadays, as we have many different classes now introduced, in which you can only focus on half of the body and the rest you can forget. But I believe this is very shallow and not really good, and is not good as well because of that another topic that I cover, which is proportional development of strength. So you don't want your chain to be only strong in one part, but then to have few very weak links, because that chain is going to break. So this is a good metaphor, for example, for you to understand that you don't want to have your upper body very strong, but then your lower body very weak, or other way around, or any other possible combination. You don't want to have a weak muscle group, because that muscle group, the weak muscle group, if you manage to get to that state, that will be the weakest link in your chain, and you are going to suffer one day because of that. So this is why I devoted the whole chapter in which I talk about proportional development of strength and muscle groups. Then the next one I devoted to benefits of weight training. So this is another chapter in which I talk about enormous benefits, not just to get stronger, bigger muscles, lower body, better composition, but also the benefits on the cardiovascular system, on the digestive system, hormonal system, etc., etc. So a very important chapter. Then in the next one, I talk about weight training and other sports, in which I explain why in every other sports today, not just today, maybe decades ago, they started introducing weight training. Just think, boxing, wrestling, martial arts, swimming, gymnastics, sprinting, everywhere that you need strength, and when you need explosive power and you need strong muscles, the weight training is necessity. The next chapter covers the subject of free weights versus resistant equipment, because this is something that people ask me all the time. Are free weights better than resistance equipment? Now I'll explain what are the benefits of free weights, what are the benefits of resistance equipment, what you should consider, what are the potential combinations that will suit you. And I think also that it is very important to understand that. Then the next chapter covers the problem of fundamental principles of weight training, in which I talk about intensity, I talk about frequency, I talk about duration of your workouts, and similar principles which are absolutely crucial. Then the next chapter covers sports injuries. Sports injuries are very common, especially in bodybuilding, because if you perform exercises in wrong form, you will clearly put a lot of pressure on your connective tissues like tendons and ligaments, and you will suffer eventually. This is why I spend so much time to give you the details about proper execution of every single exercise, proper training systems, training techniques, in order to make this beautiful sport as safe as possible. But for that, you will have to have knowledge. This is not going to happen if you just rely on bro science or copy the biggest guy in the gym. So knowledge is your most powerful protector and also most powerful motivation. Then there is a chapter called overtraining. I discuss the problems of overtraining on 10 pages there. It is clearly very important. I talk about the science of overtraining, what you should do if you feel overtrained, and how to prevent yourself from overtraining. There is a whole chapter again on nutrition, although I have more detailed books on nutrition, as for example, The Ultimate Nutrition and Feed the Muscle, Not the Fat. But in this book, I have given the chapter of 20 pages. I talk about nutrition, macronutrients. I talk about combination of food, micronutrients, etc. Now, the following chapter is motivation, why is important and what is motivation, and how to stay motivated throughout your journey. I argue that the most powerful factor for motivation is knowledge. So, if you say, oh, I'm young, I'm full of energy, I'm full of strength, I want to do something, I'm extremely motivated. Great, but what are you going to do? Well, if you don't know what to do, that motivation will be simply wasted. But if you know what to do, I guarantee you that you will be even more motivated, because the success will be just in front of you if you know what to do. The next chapter is most common mistakes in weight training, which I covered the biggest mistakes that happen to almost everybody, and you have to read this chapter. This is phenomenal. It will basically keep you away from repeating those mistakes, because they have been done before. Nothing is secret there. You just need to know, you need to learn, and you will keep yourself away from these potential mistakes. The last chapter is questions and answers. The most common questions that actually, guys, you are asking me all the time. You're sending me direct messages, and also you're asking me in your comments. And in this book, I have answered all of those most common and most important questions, even in 2010. So 15 years ago, I have selected the most important questions, the most common ones, and I've answered them in detail. So basically, what I can say is that that this book will provide you with an enormous amount of details. It's on over 400 pages, as I said, with 240 photos in which I show perfect form of execution of every exercise. So starting position and finishing position. And I also explain what are the benefits of every single exercise and what are eventual risks. So if you're really up for achieving optimal results, I think this book should be the most important book in your library, because this is clearly an encyclopedia of bodybuilding, the real one, right? All respect to the others who were my idols at some point, but their books were not really encyclopedias. They were just personal stories. My book is not a personal story. It is full of details and information based on my own experience of thousands of clients that I have trained, and also based on knowledge that I have acquired over the decades by reading, studying, researching every possible book on training, on sports physiology, biomechanics, and anatomy on the market. So I hope that I have said enough, and if you grab this book from my website, I believe that you will be extremely pleased. Just pay attention to everything I've written there. I know it's a big book. I know that nowadays people don't read much, but you know what? This type of knowledge cannot be delivered in a single video or in a single post on Instagram on a few messages. So this is impossible. I've tried to put everything in one book, and this is something that I can really recommend to everybody who is either starting or is intermediate or advanced, because there is never enough knowledge. I learn all the time. I've just ordered few books, and I got a few books yesterday from Amazon on nutrition again, and some on physiology, some sports physiology. But this story never ends. So I've just tried to put everything, to compress everything in one book for you, and hope that it will benefit you a lot. So this book, Weight Training, like my other books, are all available on my website, nashfittraining.com, on the page shop. And also on my website, you can see other services that I provide, which may be of your interest, such as telephone consultations, personalized training programs and nutritional programs, online personal training, as well as personal training one-to-one for the lucky ones who live in London. So I hope to see you in the next video. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel if you didn't, and send me your comments. They're extremely valuable. I really appreciate them, and I'm grateful that you're doing that, a lot of you. So until then, take care of yourselves.